Totally different.
Hey, first ballot Hall of Famer right there. My name say the middle one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Tarps on. All right, let's go ahead and kick things off.
What's going on, guys?
Question for Tezino. Obviously, all USFL season, you've been just a rock-solid player for them all year long. What can you say about the team's mindset heading into this game? You're facing off against arguably the best offense in the league. You know how hard it is to stop a guy like Alex Magoo, who's just doing everything on the field right now. Just what's the mindset heading into this one compared to some of the other games?
You just had an underdog mentality because we know we're the underdogs coming in. So you just got to take that mentality and tell your team that, you know, we're the underdogs, so come out and play like we're the underdogs and wish for the best.
Zach Conlon, USFL Newsroom. Question for all three on the panel. Heart and soul of the defense here is you guys, along with Alexa Coogie Roberts and many others. And I think a lot of that, from what we can tell this year, was based on the coaching staff and kind of return of that core with Jaron Horton, that's coordinator and company. Can you speak to that coaching staff? Just thoughts on year over year and the mindset taking from, I guess, worst to first, as they would put it?
Yeah, I'll go first. I think in general, Coach has done a good job, Coach Ray as well as Jaron, of just letting us know that we do have a standard every day that we got to uphold. I think last year, you know, we had the pieces, but we just couldn't find the way to put it together. And I think this year, with the additional pieces, Mark, even as such, and a few other individuals kind of stepping up and us just continuing to play together, I think our coaching staff has done a good job of keeping us consistent, you know, with the ups and downs of the season. So kudos to them, making sure that we're prepared week in and week out.
Yeah, pretty picking back off what he said. Coaches, you know, we've been the same team. We just couldn't put it together last year. And as you can see, we put it together this year. Started off kind of slow, but we're finishing strong. And I think that's the most important part. You rate us on our finish. So.
Yeah, same thing they both said. I think this coaching staff does a really good job of just being player coaches, you know, allowing us to play our game, allowing us to be comfortable out there. And then when you do that, you see guys buy in a lot faster, and even as a whole unit. You know, you see we on Saturdays and game days we playing on one accord. And I think that starts with, you know, their coaching style and how they're handling us.
Question is for Mark. I've heard people dubbing the term Gilbert Island.
Mm-hmm.
You've been on a tear this season, led the league 4 interceptions, 15 passes defense. What can you say about the success you've had this year, taking on really the toughest assignment every single week, and just what you're seeing out there with the defense?
I mean, credit goes out to the other 10 guys that's out there with me. You know, I have to make the plays that come my way, and they're confident that I can make the plays that come my way. But then, you know, them believing in me, that also helps me go out there on Saturday and do my part, my 111. So, you know, I can't do what I do if I don't have a good pass rush. You know, I can't do what I do if my safety, you know, is not communicating with me. So, you know, I do go out there and make the play when it comes my way, but there's so much before that goes on that's a key part into my success.
We just talked to, this is for anybody up there, we just talked to the special team guys, and they were talking about this is the most fun they've had, our football team since high school. Is that just with them, with their little group, or is that really filtered throughout the entire team?
I feel like it's felt throughout the entire organization. We always talk about being a family and, you know, spending time with each other. I feel like the hub has allowed us to do that a little bit more, where, you know, it was 8 of us last year. So, you know, it was just a lot of people there. You run into people that you know, went to school with, things like that. But this year, I think, you know, we've just came together really well. And I think it showed, I mean, you know, in close games, you know, showing up for each other, you know, and playing for each other of all 3 phases. You know, we're very fortunate to have a good organization and a good, you know, family chemistry.
Guys, Mark, you kind of alluded to about you wouldn't have you completely hurt because of the pass rush. You guys want to shout a little more on how the defense run may make a difference for you guys because you guys were flying around with turnovers. But I'll just start with the defensive front. How much they set the tone for you guys on defense?
They pretty much make the defense go. Without them, we wouldn't have all these turnovers, all these picks without them. I mean, truthfully, I tell them every day. They're literally the drivers of this car that we driving right now. Like they make this defense go, and they know that. So just be ready for them to have a very big game.
Yeah, I think like he said, they drive the bus, man. We can't if we covering all day, you know what I'm saying, none of the turnovers that we have made we make. So credit goes out to them for being a dominant force in this league.
This is really for any of you guys. Can you guys talk about how the defense's journey this year and how you guys have really grown and connected with one another?
Yeah, I just think as you know, we kind of all alluded to earlier, I think us just coming together, not only as a defense but even as a team, has helped out a lot. I think since game one, I think the thing that you'll probably hear from everybody who comes up here, offense, defense, and special team, is like the belief that we've all had in each other, and we just kind of had to put it together. But to speak for the defense, particularly, we communicate, we have fun. We enjoy being around each other. We trust each other. I think that's one of the biggest things. And at all levels, that's what they were basically saying earlier, is like our D-line. We trust them. They trust us, linebackers all around. So I think that's been the biggest thing. And as the season's gone on and we've had really close games and, we're winning and, we feel confident now, I think that trust continues to grow, and we believe in ourselves from top to bottom.
Kyahva, what do you think about that?
No, I mean, yeah, like he said, I think this hub pretty much, because I like he said last year, in Birmingham we were all 8 teams. So my thing was, I had actually told Tarp this, you kind of like go live with people who you've been in college with or longtime friends, and you really couldn't really gel with your team there. So once we moved out here, I feel like our team got extremely close, like in a hurry too. So I got closer with a lot of these guys. Like, these guys right here are going to be my guys for life. Like, anything they ever need, they can always call me. And that goes just for the whole entire team. So it's truly a blessing to be able to gel with those guys as fast as we did, and to see the difference, as you can see, from this year until last year. So, yeah, it's just a blessing.
Mark, why don't you finish up?
Well, we bond a lot off the field. We bond a lot, and I think that that can make a difference on any team, especially like a year that this team had last year. Like he said, with all the teams kind of being together, but then us being in Canton specifically this year, kind of being more secluded in our own area, it has allowed us to really bond off the field, and that all of that it just transfers onto the field.
Kyahva, you come in, win, loss, today, your expressions are always the same. Can you talk about flipping that switch once you get between the lines?
Yeah, I mean, you got to have that switch because, it's football. It's a business at the end of the day. Some things aren't meant to take personal. Some things you can take personal within yourself, but you got to know where you at and kind of like, level yourself. So for me, I always try to stay the same and stay level-headed. So when I come up here, you guys are never going to get like a difference out of me. I'm always going to be the same person. So, but on that field, obviously, I turn up a little switch. It's different. I think everybody who plays football can announce that you got to be a different guy to play football. You can't just be this guy. I'm up here now. I know I portray like a little nice guy, but when I get on there, I'm mean. So, so yeah.
Questions for Tarpley. You grew up in Pittsburgh. You grew up playing football in Pittsburgh. What does it mean to you to now play for a USFL championship with the Pittsburgh Maulers?
Yeah, I think it's a blessing, to even have this opportunity. I think I was telling somebody earlier, but Pittsburgh has a sense of pride with all of its sports: Penguins, Pirates, Steelers, and had a black and gold, which I think was cool that we kind of made that switch. It's something that not only the city, but myself, was happy to be able to do. But I think that this season has kind of shown what that Pittsburgh swag, if you want to call it, is about. The grit, working hard, persevering, staying resilient. So just to be able to, compete for a championship and go out here and, put on is a blessing.
So this is for everyone. So all year, you guys have been considered the underdog. Even though now you're in the championship game, you led the North, I'd say you're probably still considered the underdog. When we look at your last matchup with the Stallions, it was a one-possession game. What's the difference between then and now? How are you going to shake off the underdog and prove the world wrong?
That's a good question. Go ahead. That's a good question.
We not the same team.
Yeah.
We clicking right now. So the last time we played them, I felt like y'all seen spurts of what we were capable of, but as you've seen throughout as the season progressed, we're an entirely different team right now on both sides of the ball, playing with a lot of confidence, a lot of swag, and we see the narrative, but we don't think we're underdogs. You know what I'm saying? We know that we're meant to be here. We know we put the time and the work in to be here. So yeah, I mean we got all the confidence in the world that we're gonna go out there and do what we came here to do.
Thank you.
Kyahva, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, like he said, we kind of on like a revenge tour right now. We know what we are as a team. We know what we have. We know we're good players and we know they're good players, but we know that they put their pants on the same way we do. So at the end of the day, we go out there and play football, and we go wish for the best for us.
Tart?
Yeah, I mean, it's been like that all season since game one. So, it's not always the best to be considered the underdog, but it is what it is, and that's kind of where people have placed us, and we're gonna go out and do what we need to do. We haven't done a lot of talking all year. Nobody on our team, so we're not gonna start now. We're just gonna let our play do the talking, and then let the chips fall where they may.
This one's for Mark. Being the league leader in interceptions this year, how do you think big plays like that are going to impact the game this weekend against an offense as good as Birmingham?
Well, turnovers just can create extra possessions for our offense. So, and that's been our style of play all year. Get a turnover and capitalize on it. So, if we go out there on Saturday and do exactly what we've been doing all season, we know that we can come out with a good outcome for sure.
Let's go ahead and go to the Zoom. Joe, why don't you go ahead and ask your question, sir?
Yeah, this is for all you guys. Coach Darren Horton, has been your defensive coordinator for a couple of years. What is he doing? What philosophically does he do with this defense that makes it a good defense for you guys? What does the one or two things he wants out of you guys?
Standard is a standard. He wants the best for us, and we want the best for him. We want him to achieve everything that we put out there on the field. So obviously I think we've been pretty good on defense thus far, and I think that he would want us to play our best game of football this game.
Yeah, I would just say Coach Darren Horton is super passionate, and you can kind of see that the way he is constantly looking for us to improve. Even with wins, he's always focused on ways we can get better. And then I think the other thing that a lot of people, well, you guys probably don't know, but he trusts us. Like that, I really think that's the biggest thing. Like he trusts us that, he knows, when this happens, okay, cool. He trusts his players are gonna make plays, and he puts us in positions to do that. He's willing to adjust. He's not a coach that's just gonna be like, all right, this is what we're doing, we're sticking to it. Like, no, if we have to make adjustments, we will. And I think that you all have seen that in the reflection of the game. But from what we're doing on a day-to-day, that's something that he's always willing to do, always willing to make adjustments and make sure that he's putting his players in the best position to succeed.
Can you guys talk about what it means for you guys to play in this championship after the journey that you guys have had this season?
It just means a lot. The USFL is like, the lead is just like, you get an opportunity of a lifetime. So And the USFL has changed so many people's lives. It's changed my life. I'm pretty sure it changed these guys' lives and everyone's in every single locker room. So this game just means so much, you know, not to us, but to our families, to our journeys, to everything. And just to be here is a blessing. It's surreal, but like I said, I believe that we deserve to be here. We went from a 1-9 team from last year to worst to first, or however you want to put it. But I think we deserve, and we gonna go out there and prove everybody wrong.
Yeah, I think it means everything, man. Just all the time, effort, blood, sweat, and tears that we put in week in and week out, starting with camp. You know, it's we've gotten to the game that everybody wants to be in. We've gotten to the biggest game that you can play in the season. So, you know, that just goes to, it shows us that everything wasn't for nothing. You know, it's paid off, and you know, we just know we want to finish it off right.
Tark?
Yeah, I would just say I feel like our season is a testament to life. Like everybody in this room, regardless if you play sports or if you're playing football like us or not, you know, it's ups and downs. Everything's not perfect. We haven't had a perfect season. But at the end of the day, you just keep persevering, you keep growing, you keep trusting in the process, which I think all of us have done from top to bottom. And, you know, as you continue to do that, you know, you'll end up where you want to be, you know, and then all you can ever live by a quote, like, any man that asks for more than an opportunity, you know, is basically ungrateful. And we have an opportunity and we're here. So I just feel like our season is a perfect example of what life is like. Highs and lows, you know, but you got to keep going, so.
You guys lost 20-24 against Birmingham, obviously, earlier this year. Got off to a good start and kind of went from there. What experiences do you think you guys have had since then that'll lead you to be able to flip the script this weekend?
That's a good question.
That's a good question.
I'll go first. I would say that I feel like it taught us a lot about ourselves, like key points that we need to focus on, that, you know, Coach Horton has brought up, both Coach Hortons have brought up to our organization, whether it be offense, defense, and special teams. Things that we didn't even really realize about ourselves, key points that we need to focus on, that a lot of, you know, fans and stuff don't see. And when we follow and we make sure we execute those things, we win. So that's like that. We really needed that to happen because that was exposing us to show us what areas that we can improve on going forward. And on the back end of the season, we capitalized on those and we focused on them. And when we needed to, we made it count. And like I said, these are just small things that, you know, the average viewer is not going to pay attention to, but we've, you know, detailed it down to almost a science. We do these things, we're going to put ourselves in position. So I feel like, in my opinion, that game was really the turning point, at least in terms of like us being able to identify those things. And then we just kept working on it through the season. So I think it was important for us.
Yeah, I mean, he hit it right on the point. I think, yeah, like he said, I think that once we recognize what we needed to recognize, everything else started to change for us.
Mark?
Yeah, same thing. I think we had every game, you know, no game is ever perfect. There's always something that we can learn from every game. And I think all the mistakes we've made in each game we've played in just kind of it made us who we are. And made us the team that we are standing before you today. And all those mistakes were necessary. You know what I'm saying? Like even minor stuff.
Well, who it's made you is the North Division champions, and all USFL players on defense, and we really thank you today for being here. And we'll go ahead and switch out right now and have Coach Ray Horton, quarterback Troy Williams, and defensive lineman Boogie Roberts coming up next. So thank you, gentlemen.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
You guys want to take these? You obviously. Thanks, Trey. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you. Thank you.